أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذروا من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لو يسألكم أجرا وهم محتدون صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you very much, Brother Jawad, for that beautiful recitation. Can I now welcome Brother... Who are we doing with Hadith Qissa today? Brother Hussein for Hadith Qissa. Brother Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad Bulantar Salawat. So, just before we get started on Hadith Qissa, we've got a couple of boys who I can see who are not really paying that much attention. So, out of respect for the Holy Quran and out of respect for this blessed gathering, if we could just keep our attention front and center and at least give as much respect to the reciter and to the Quran, to not be talking throughout, that would be really appreciated. Thank you very much. And now can I ask you guys to recite the loudest salawat that you've done so far?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله أنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به، وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدة. السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوذي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه. السلام عليك يا من اختاره الأمة، من اختار الله. أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، وتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفته وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إنه هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمعي، يعلمني ما يعلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن آداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم. فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنكم الرجس وطهركم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مذيرا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبتي هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى ويقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام، يقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مذيرا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله، فإنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلا علي إن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذن والله فزنا وفازوا شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر حبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله هما، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غما، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام إذن والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدون في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
Thank you very much. MashaAllah. Thank you very much, Brother Hussein, for that recitation. Just a quick word about Hadith, because obviously I know that for some of us, obviously most of us, I'm assuming we don't understand Arabic. So sitting through Hadith Sikisa, maybe when you don't understand what's being said, can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. But I would really encourage all of us, and myself as well, to go home and read the translation of Hadith Sikisa, because right at the end, what it was just saying there was God has basically commanded the angels to come down, surround this gathering. Whenever there's a group of us present who are lovers of the Ahlul Bayt al-Islam, God commands the angels to come down, surround this gathering, to ask for forgiveness for all of us until we get up. So you can imagine how much of a massive and immeasurable blessing that is. So just before we go on to welcome Brother Ali Raza to start us off with Surah Salam today, we're going to do a bit of a recap of yesterday's lecture. And first I'm going to start off by asking you guys anything that you remember, stuff that stayed with you from yesterday. And if I don't get people putting their hands up, then I'm just going to pick on you. So be ready with something, just in case you do get picked on. And then afterwards, I'll just go through some key points that I made from yesterday's lecture, and then we'll get started with Surah Salam. So to start off, my first question is, anything in general that you remember from yesterday's lecture that Brother Zuriyaab delivered? Hint, obviously it was on Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Hopefully you all know that much. Anyone? Yes? Absolutely, yeah. For those who didn't hear, what the brother said is, if I remember correctly, Einstein reached out to all of the major religious leaders around the world, and the response that he received from the Shia scholars were the ones that impressed him the most, apparently. So that's very well remembered. Anyone else? Anything else? Anyone from the sisters? Brothers? I would pick on you, but I know you weren't here yesterday. So. Yeah? Yes, well done. That's something that I learned yesterday as well. I mean, I heard it before, but I forgot. So 1,140 years old is how old our Imam is. And we need a salawat. And I think Brother Zuriyaab is going to explain about how that's possible later on in the series, so watch out for that one. Anyone else? Brother Hadi, yeah, go on. Yeah. Yeah. I do remember that as well. Well remembered. It looks like we're all really clinging on to the scientific points, which is great. Anyone else? Yeah? Absolutely. Correct. Well done. That was in regards to, so that was a note that I got for the older kids, which was a word which was thrown out by Zuriyaab called empiricism. So you guys, I don't know if you remember that, but basically we have to rethink how we discern reality, how we figure out what is real and what is not real. It's not only just based on what we see and what we touch and what we hear and what we feel, because there are things that we can't see that we know are real, and science has proven that. So, but that's a deep discussion in itself. But basically, seeing is not believing. Like, that's not the bottom line. Anything else? Anyone else? Brother, were you here yesterday? You were here yesterday. What did you remember from yesterday? Absolutely, well done, mashallah. Go on. Very good, mashallah. So what the brothers just said here, that the first brother said, the Imam went into occultation. Allah has hid the Imam from the world so that he is safe, so that we have a leader. And then the other brother added that if this world did not have a leader for even just a moment, then the world would swallow itself up. And the reason for that is because the Imams, the Prophets, the people that are sent from God as divine guides are vessels for God's mercy to reach us on earth. So if they're not here, if we don't have one of them, then there's no way for God's mercy to reach us, and hence the earth would swallow itself up. Anyone else? Yeah? Absolutely, yeah. And what was the word beginning with M that he used to describe knowing your Imam? Do you remember? Beginning with M. Ma'rifat. Ma'rifat, you say in Urdu. Ma'rifat. And that basically means knowledge of... That's the word that we describe for the knowledge of the Imam. Anyone else? Yes? Say again? Yeah. Yeah. World Wide Web, yeah. And then what did he say? What was the advice? Because did he say that you're just going to get trapped in the World Wide Web and then so you can't use the internet? Is that what he said? What did he say? So did he say that the internet is all bad? What did he say? If it's not all bad, then what would it probably be? Probably not all good either, but it's somewhere in between, right? It's got bad and it's got good. So what Brother Zuriyaab advised us to be is conscious. He said we can do practical things like set time limits to make sure we're not getting stuck in that spider's web of always being on Reels or TikTok or whatever. Anyone else? Yeah, Migdad. Absolutely, yeah. Instead, what did he do? Exactly, yeah. Because their characteristics, no one else can emulate those characteristics apart from them. So it was a foolproof way of ensuring till the Day of Judgment that the proof of the Imamate would be in the Quran. Anyone else from the sisters? Yeah? Yeah, speak. Very good. Brother Zuriyaab did mention that we use 9% of what's called our cerebral capacity, and the other 91%, which he described as grey matter, we don't have access to. And he did say, did anyone remember what he said would happen when the Imam comes? Yeah. Yeah. So the brother said, for those of you who didn't hear, he said, when the Imam comes, he can touch any of the believers on their forehead or, bestow blessings upon them, and then they'll unlock the full potential of their brain. And imagine what we'll be able to do. Time travel and all the rest of it. So thank you for everyone who put their hand up and responded. I'm just going to quickly go over the key points and then we're going to welcome Brother Ali Asghar for salam. Can I have a loud salawat, please? So just run through this really quickly. So Mahdi, what does it mean? Yes. The one who guides, exactly. One who brings light in darkness. That was something that I got reminded of yesterday as well. So Brother Zuriyaab talked about the divine system of guidance through the Prophet ﷺ and his family. Salawat. And that Imamat is the divine guidance or continuation of divine guidance after the Prophet. As someone mentioned, the Imam is 1,140 years old. The earth can't be deprived of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, and guides, for example, prophets and the Imams, are the means for that mercy to reach us. Therefore, there has to be a guide all the time, as the brother pointed out. Then we talked about, a sister raised a point about empiricism. Seeing is not believing necessarily. And then knowing Imam is a matter of the heart, so Ma'rifah, which the brother pointed out. And then we touched upon new chapters of knowledge which will be unlocked. Maybe we'll unlock the full potential of our brain, do teleporting and stuff like that. And another point is the global rule of the Imam. So when the Imam ﷺ comes, his rule will be over the whole world, not just Makkah or Medina or Kufa. That was another thing which I picked up yesterday. And a really, really, really important thing that I want everyone to pay attention to is that society changes. So we shouldn't seek the validation of society because it will just drive you crazy because it's always shifting goalposts. So you need to seek the validation of the thing which is constant and the thing which is most important. And Brother Zuriyaab gave us this advice in regards to picking friends as well. When we want to choose friends, we have to think about what are the most important things that we should be looking for in a friend. And we'll talk about that a bit more later, inshallah. And then the last couple of things, never turn your back on the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. If we think about how much our parents love us, no matter what we do, they'll always be there for us. And the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam will be there for us past when our parents won't be there for us. That's how much they love us. We can't even understand that because it doesn't make sense to us, but that's the truth. So never turn your back on the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, no matter what you've done. Always come back to them. Imam Hussain alayhi salam looked for big and sincere hearts. He didn't look for the people with biggest muscles. He looked for the people with pure intentions and clean hearts. And then he bestowed upon them strength to the extent where you had people in their 80s, Musa ibn Awsaja, who went into the battlefield and fought and killed tens and tens and tens of people when he was in his 80s. And that wasn't because he was like some bodybuilder. He was a weak old man, like physically when you look at him. But he was given that strength from the Imam because of his love. So with that, yeah, Imam will give power and strength to those who he chooses. So can I ask you all to recite Allah salawat and and we're going to welcome Brother Ali Asghar to start us off with Surah Salam for today.
Brother Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊँ, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, मेरे लाडले कहाँ हो, मेरे लाडले कहाँ हो, सीने तुम्हें लगाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, बेटा तुम्हारा कातिल मेरे सामने खड़ा है, जाने क्यों हंस रहा है, चादर भी लुट चुकी है, मुँह किस तरह छुपाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, तेरे झूले को सकीना रो रो के चूमती है, तुझे घर में ढूंढती है, तेरी मौत की खबर मैं कैसे उसे सुनाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, मेरी जान जा रही है, ये सोच सोच असगर, इस फूल से गले पर ये तीर कैसे झेला, बहनों को क्या बताऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, नेज़े से गिर रहा है नन्हा सा सर तुम्हारा, दिल रोता है हमारा, मेरे हाथ तो बंधे हैं, सर किस तरह उठाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, जब रात होगी रन में हो जाएगा अंधेरा, डरना नहीं है बेटा, दादी कहेगी तुमसे, आ मैं तुझे सुलाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं, असगर मैं तेरी माँ हूँ, सलवात।
Thank you, Brother Ali Reza, for that beautiful recitation, as always. Can I welcome Brother Hadi to the stage to recite Surah Salam? Bar Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad Bulantar Salawat. Salawat.
خدا بھی راضی نہ ہوگا، خدا بھی راضی نہ ہوگا بغیر ماتم کے، خدا بھی راضی نہ ہوگا بغیر ماتم کے، قبول ہوگا نہ سجدہ، قبول ہوگا نہ سجدہ بغیر ماتم کے، خدا بھی راضی نہ ہوگا بغیر ماتم کے۔ پڑھو نماز عبادت بھی کرو گھر میں، پڑھو نماز عبادت بھی کرو گھر میں، نہ آئے گی کبھی زہرا، نہ آئے گی کبھی زہرا بغیر ماتم کے، خدا بھی راضی نہ ہوگا بغیر ماتم کے۔ یہ روز ماہ محرم میں مجھ سے ماں نے کہا، یہ روز ماہ محرم میں مجھ سے ماں نے کہا، اے بیٹا گھر میں نہ آنا، اے بیٹا گھر میں نہ آنا بغیر ماتم کے، خدا بھی راضی نہ ہوگا بغیر ماتم کے۔ میں ماتمی ہوں میرے دوست، ماتمی ہے سبھی، میں ماتمی ہوں میرے دوست، ماتمی ہے سبھی، نہیں ہے کوئی بھی اپنا، نہیں ہے کوئی بھی اپنا بغیر ماتم کے، خدا بھی راضی نہ ہوگا بغیر ماتم کے۔ محمد وآل محمد، بلند تر صلوات۔ ماں کہتی تھی جلتے ہوئے جھولے سے لپٹ کر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر۔ ماں کہتی تھی جلتے ہوئے جھولے سے لپٹ کر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر۔ ظالم نے تجھے قبر سے اس طرح نکالا، سینے پہ لگا جس گری بیٹا تیرے نیزا، لاشے کو تیرے دیکھ کے بولا سر اکبر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر۔ ماں کہتی تھی جلتے ہوئے جھولے سے لپٹ کر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر۔ قاتل تیرا مل جائے تو خود پوچھ لوں ان سے، کیا جرم تھا 6 ماہ کے بچے کا بتا دے، اس نے تو بلایا نہیں، ماں بھی مجھے کہہ کر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر۔ ماں کہتی تھی جلتے ہوئے جھولے سے لپٹ کر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر۔ اب تک میری آنکھوں سے وہ منظر نہیں جاتا، گردن سے تیری خون ٹپکتا رہا بیٹا، رومال بھی باندھا نہ گیا تیرے گلے پر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر۔ ماں کہتی تھی جلتے ہوئے جھولے سے لپٹ کر، ہائے ہائے علی اصغر۔ محمد وآل محمد، بلند تر صلوات۔
MashaAllah, thank you, Brother Hadi, for that beautiful recitation. Can I ask Brother Bakir and just you? Yeah. Please recite Allah Salawat Bar Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.
اور محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔ اے میرے بے زباں تم رہ گئے کہاں، اصغر جئیں گی کیسے تیرے بغیر ماں، اے میرے بے زباں تم رہ گئے کہاں، اصغر جئیں گی کیسے تیرے بغیر ماں، چہرہ وہ چاند جیسا، چہرہ وہ چاند جیسا کیسے بلائے ماں، اصغر جئیں گی کیسے تیرے بغیر ماں، کیا وقت آ گیا ہے بانوں کی بے کسی پر، غربت پہ تیرے ماتم کیسے کرے گی مادر، آدان باندھ دی ہیں، آدان باندھ دی ہیں ہاتھوں میں رسیاں، اصغر جئیں گی کیسے تیرے بغیر ماں، اے میرے بے زباں تم رہ گئے کہاں، اصغر جئیں گی کیسے تیرے بغیر ماں، ہمت پہ ماں تمہاری قربان کیوں نہ جائے، سنتی ہوں تیر کھا کر تم رن میں مسکرائے، مادر کی لاج رکھ لی، مادر کی لاج رکھ لی، شاباش میری جان، اصغر جئیں گی کیسے تیرے بغیر ماں، مادر کی ہے وصیت بیٹا خیال رکھنا، گودی میں ان کی اصغر جانے کی ضد نہ کرنا، پہلے ہی ہے شکستہ، پہلے ہی ہے شکستہ دادی کی پسلیاں، اصغر جئیں گی کیسے تیرے بغیر ماں، پر محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
MashaAllah, Brother Wakir. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you even more ta'seer in your voice. Just, Zuriyaab bhai, with your permission, inshallah, a couple of lines in honor of Shehzada Ali Asghar alayhi salam. Please recite a loud salawat by Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. آجا علی اصغر تمہیں سینے سے لگا لوں، آجا علی اصغر تمہیں سینے سے لگا لوں، کیوں روٹھ گئے لوریاں دے دے کہ منا لوں، کیوں روٹھ گئے لوریاں دے دے کہ منا لوں، آجا علی اصغر۔ اے چاند چاند میرے مرنے کو جاتے ہو خدا حافظ. اے چاند میرے مرنے کو جاتے ہو خدا حافظ. ٹھہرو ذرا بکھری ہوئی زلفوں کو سجا دوں. ٹھہرو ذرا بکھری ہوئی زلفوں کو سجا دوں. تو بول نہیں سکتا یہ کہتی ہے سکینہ. تو بول نہیں سکتا یہ کہتی ہے سکینہ. اصغر تجھے میں مانگنا پانی تو سکھا دوں. اصغر تجھے میں مانگنا پانی تو سکھا دوں. شبیر نے سوچا تھا پامالی سے بچ جائے. شبیر نے سوچا تھا پامالی سے بچ جائے. چھوٹی سی قبر کھود کے اصغر کو چھپا دوں. چھوٹی سی قبر کھود کے اصغر کو چھپا دوں. آجا علی اصغر تمہیں سینے سے لگا لوں. آجا علی اصغر. بر محمد وال محمد بلند تر صلوات. Can I please welcome our dear brother Zuriyaab to the member to give Fazail al-Masa'ib for Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad Balantar Salawat.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الحمد للہ رب العالمین والصلاة والسلام علی اشرف الانبیاء والمرسلین سیدنا و حبیبنا ابی القاسم مصطفیٰ محمد. اللہم صلی اللہ محمد وعلی بیتہ الطیبین الطاہرین المعصومین. اما بعد فقد قال رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم من مات ولم يعرف Imam Zamanihi mata maytatan jahiliya. Again, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His infinite blessing, His mercy in allowing us to commemorate this Majalis for Imam Hussein, his children, his family and his companions. And we express our condolences to all the mu'mineen here today, in particular Imam Zamana, on these days of tragedy and grief. Alhamdulillah, we started our discussion yesterday And we said the topic or the theme for the nights to come or the days to come is to do with Imam Zamana. And the main point is that because in Muharram, we want to leave this Muharram a new person, a new youth, a new soldier of the Imam itself. And for us to become a new person, we need to know which Imam we are following. Just knowing his name is not enough. True Ma'rifah, we discussed yesterday very briefly, is knowing the person for who they are. Before I carry on for today, and I have some examples of past companions who were good and those who were bad. Because the Quran itself, for example, is not just a book of guidance which just gives you commands of Allah. If you look at the chapters of the Quran, there's so many different stories in there. Nabi Yusuf, the likes of Nabi Ibrahim, Nabi Musa, Nabi Isa. These stories, Ahsan al-Qasas as they're known as, the best of stories, is because humans, like all of humans like you and me today, we learn by stories. We learn by history. If you think of it, the word history, what does it stand for? His story. Whoever wins or whoever conquers or whoever's in power, you only know his story. Alhamdulillah, with our Islam, it's the Holy Prophet who conquered Mecca and Arabia with his akhlaq and his character. So we are following literally his story, the best of examples. Before I go into that today, I wanted to make a very quick point on this majlis you, my dear brothers, sisters, and my brothers are attending. Normally, and inshallah it's our iman, all majalis are, whether it's in this center, other centers, your house, the person next to yours house, anywhere these majalis happen, they're extremely pure. May Allah accept everyone's majlis. However, when there's a youth children majlis, like the youth majlis today, it's extra special. Allow me to explain. It's extra special not because of the speaker. I'm a nobody. It's you, your purity, as well as the dhikr that's being done. The purity of you and the dhikr itself. Allow me to explain. There's one respected Alim Din, Alama Dr. Sakhawat Sandarwi. He says, I know a Alim Din in Qum by the name of Ayatollah Khosari. Ayatollah Khosari says that on Ashura, I was reciting in an area in Tehran known as Jamaran. He says, I was reciting the Ashura Maktal, the Majalis of Imam Hussein. As I was reciting, he says, I went through one alley in which I saw some young children, like yourself here, the brothers and sisters here today, youths. They stopped me, they held onto my abba, they said, oh Sheikh, you recite for adults, you know, the big majalises, thousands of people. Will you not recite a majlis for us kids today? He said, of course I will. So he said, they made me sit on a stool, and these young kids were in front of me. I recited a bit of the majlis of Imam Hussein. All the kids began to cry. They had tears in their eyes. They had love for Imam Hussein. He says, when this finished, I was leaving the majlis because I had to go to, Shami Ghariba. I was reciting in the other part of Tehran. So I had to go. I was in a rush. I didn't have time to stop. They said, wait, before you leave, we've made some tabarruk. We've made niyaz ourselves. Before you go, make sure you have some niyaz. He said, okay. But he said, they gave me the tea, but the tea was cold. These kids probably made it how many hours ago out of their love for Sayyidah Fatima and her children. But the tea had gone cold. So you see, he said, normally you have tea, it should be hot, right? For example, you have hot chocolate. You're not going to have cold chocolate. That's a milkshake. Hot chocolate means it should be hot. So this Ayatollah says, I picked up the glass, it was cold, so I thought, it's okay. I left it there, and I left quickly. He says, that night I had a dream. In my dream, he says, I didn't see Sayyidah Fatima, but I could feel her presence. And he says, in my dream, Sayyidah Fatima says to me, do you know out of all of the majlises you recited today, which one was accepted? He said, no, Sayyidah, I don't know which one was accepted. You're the one who accepts the majlis. She said, the one you recited for the children is the one I accepted. He said, I felt really pleased. Alhamdulillah, Bibi accepted my majalis. But he said, I felt Sayyidah was sad. So I said, Bibi, why are you sad? She said, you didn't have the tabarruk. You didn't have that tea the children made. He said, Bibi, it was cold. Tabarruk is meant to be fresh. It was cold. But he said, the next thing Sayyidah said to me amazed me. She said, but I made that tea for you. Who made the tea? The kids. But Sayyidah Fatima said it was so pure the way they made it out of the love of the Ahlul Bayt. It was like I made it. Ayatollah Khosari, why didn't you drink that tea which I had made for you? You see, there's a Zahiri thing and there's a Batini. I'll explain very quickly what that means. These are big terms, but allow me to explain. Zahiri basically means what you guys see with your eyes. You're seeing me, I'm seeing you. Batini is the spiritual, the hidden part inside. You could be best friends with someone for your whole life, but you don't know he or she is jealous of you. You get the best of grades. You're the best at football. You're the best at this thing. They're jealous of you, but they don't show it because it's inside. That's part of the test. But there are other things like this ibadah, mashallah, you guys are here today. You've taken time out of your busy schedules, it's summer holidays, but you still came to this Majalis Azhar. Even if you leave with one thing, one small thing like the story I just gave, that can perhaps change your whole outlook on life. And this is why Imam Hussein made this sacrifice. So that every day, every year, in the month of Muharram and Safar, you recharge your batteries. We all get tired. We all go through many things. But this month, these days are so holy, you are able to recharge yourselves. With the dhikr of whom? Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma ala Muhammad. Coming on to our examples for today, inshallah. Today and tomorrow. Today is part one of some of the characteristics of the companions of the Imams and those who betrayed the Imams. Some of the names I'm going to explain now, you may have never heard of them. Even if you've heard of them, I promise you, the stories or the accounts I'll mention, they'll be new, inshallah. The first is a man by the name of Zubair. Now, you may have heard of Zubair, Talha and Zubair. Zubair was in fact Imam Ali alayhi salam's first cousin. Zubair ibn Awam, his mum, and Imam Ali's mother, Fatima bint Asad, they were both sisters, blood sisters. So that makes Imam Ali and Zubair first cousins. Now one day, the narration says, Zubair and Imam Ali are walking in the bazaar together. And Zubair has his arm around Imam Ali. You know when you're walking with your friend, arm around Ali, Imam Ali. When Rasulullah saw this, he said, Zubair, how much do you love your cousin? As in, you respect him a lot, but how much? Zubair says, Oh Rasulullah, I love him a lot. He's very dear to me. Rasulullah looked to Zubair and said, Zubair, be very careful. One day, your love for Ali will be tested a lot. Make sure you're on the right side of history, in other words. Why did Zubair end up failing in his love for Imam Ali? Imagine, let's say he lived for 50 years, as an example. For at least 40 of those 50 years, Zubair was Daraja Awwal. He was there, the companion of Imam Ali. You know when they attacked the house of Sayyidah Fatima, in Ayam Fatima you heard this, when Sayyidah Fatima's house was attacked, Zubair was the companion who came out with his sword to fight for Sayyidah Fatima. They had to arrest him and put him to the ground and take him into the prison cell. He came out to fight for Sayyidah Fatima. But today he's not mentioned with good words. Why? He allowed his personal interest, as in his nafs, his feelings, that I want to be the richest, I want to be the best, outside of the Imam of his time. He was willing to put everything he had with the Imam for sale, for the sake of what? Position and power. Now this doesn't mean you shouldn't be the best in your field. For example, mashallah, there's people in front of me here today, you'll be the best of doctors, you'll be the best of engineers, the best of social media creators. Whatever you want to go into, Islam says be the best. But don't compromise your values. Don't compromise the Imam of your time. They say Zubair was one of the best people, but when Imam Ali became the Khalifa, he came to Imam Ali, he said, yes, finally. The truth now is Ali. Obviously we knew Imam Ali was with the truth, but now people have realized, so 25 years later, you are the Khalifa. He said, now make me the governor of Egypt. You know the whole of Egypt? Make me the governor. I'll be the king, I'll go there, I'll rule for you. I'll report back to you, but let me be the leader. Imam Ali said, Zubair, even though you're my cousin, that doesn't mean I put you into power where you're not qualified to be there. Imam Ali says, my adl stops me from putting you in power because there's other people more experienced than you. If I make you the governor of Egypt, what if you don't know how to do the job and we get invaded, or God forbid you do zulm upon someone? Zubair, wait, I will only put those in power. What did Zubair do? Instead of speaking to his cousin, who he loved a lot, his own blood, he ended up turning against Imam Ali. He instigated the battle of Jamal. On the day of the battle itself, he ran away. But the main point was, he did not seek tawbah from Allah. He was the middleman. He said, no, I'm not with Ali, no, I am against Ali. And so he ended up dying on this state. The point is what? We read in the Quran, Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da is hadaytana. Allah, don't make our hearts turn after you have guided us. Okay? It means basically, alhamdulillah, you're coming to this Majalis, you're Shia, you're someone who is a mu'min, you love the Ahlul Bayt. Keep praying that Allah keeps you on this path. How will He keep you on this path? Through your sincerity, through the good you do. If God forbid you do bad things, let's say you get rude to your parents. I mentioned this yesterday again. Your mother says to you after the Majlis today, come home, can you help me cut this, let's say the onions or the apples or I don't know, the potatoes, whatever it may be at home. Or help me take this bin outside. Or your dad says to you, come and help me with my car. And you're like, no, it's my summer holidays. I'm tired, I'm watching TV, I'm playing my game. If you reply back to your parents in a rude way, what do you think is going to happen to you? That barakah Allah has put in your life is taken away. Don't be surprised if you go to school and you have no friends anymore. They stop speaking to you. Why? Because you also were rude to your parents. If you're not loyal to your own families, how can you be loyal to your friends? Zubair ibn Awam is the first example. The second is Maytham at-Tammar. Again, you've heard of his name before, but I wish to present him in a new way to you. There are two people who were very close to the Ahlul Bayt, other than Salman and Abu Zar. Maytham, Tammar, and Habib ibn Madahir. Both from Kufa, both from the same neighborhood. Maytham at-Tammar. Tammar means what in Arabic? The date seller, let's say. The one with the dates. So he was a date seller. Just like today when you go to the market, you see people selling fruit and stuff. He was a simple man. He didn't have like a high suit or high corporate job, a simple person. But today, Maytham has his own roza. He has his own shrine. Other businessmen, other millionaires of that time don't have what Maytham has. You don't even know the names of the millionaires of that time. But you know who Maytham was? How comes? Because Maytham did everything for the Imam of his time. They say he was so sincere in selling dates and his love for Imam Ali. One day Imam Ali came to him and said, Maytham, go take some rest. I will sell your dates for you. Imagine, Imam Mahdi comes to you, yeah, you're in your homes, and he says to you, you take rest. I will, for example, do your homework for you. I will sit with you. I will do your job for you. What a great honor. There's a funny story here, I'll mention it as we go along. When Imam Ali was on his stool, a man came and he thought I could trick Imam Ali. He doesn't know this is Amirul Mu'mineen. He came to Imam Ali and he said, can I have like a kilo of dates? So Imam Ali tied the bag, gave him a kilo of dates. He gave Imam Ali some fake coins and he ran away laughing. When he went home, he tried to eat the dates. The dates were like stone, rock solid. His teeth almost broke. He came back to Imam Ali, he threw the dates onto the counter. He said, well, you sold me some bad dates. These are fraudulent. These are naqis. I can't even eat them. Imam Ali replied, but you also gave me fake money. The money you gave me, I gave you the same value of dates. This is the stool of whom? Maytham at-Tammar. They say one day, Maytham and Habib ibn Madahir, they met in the bazaars of Kufa together. Maytham on his horse, Habib on his horse. They met together, packed bazaar. People are full to the rafters everywhere. And they know who Maytham is, they know who Habib is. They were not like celebrities, but when people saw them, out of their respect, they would bow. They would move out of the way. They said, let's see what these two talk about today. You know, people like eavesdropping, right? Ghiba, backbiting, they're like listening into secrets. They said, let's listen into what they're talking about. Maytham said to Habib, Habib, I congratulate you. One day, you'll be shaheed, killed for your Imam. Habib looked to Maytham and said, I congratulate you, Ya Maytham. One day, you will also be shaheed for your Imam. They both smiled at each other and they both left. And the people are thinking, Ajib, why are you congratulating each other on death? What they were saying to each other was that you, both of us, Maytham you and Habib you, we will each die out of our love for our Imam. Now, translate that today. Imam Zamana wants you to live. Karbala was different. Imam Ali's time was different. Imam Mahdi's time is different. The Imam wants you to live, but how should you be living? In any way which furthers his mission. I mentioned yesterday as well. Start with your own home. Helping the family, helping your friends. If you're on social media, okay, fine. Posting about Imam Zamana, Julus, Majalis, whatever it may be. Some of you here, mashallah, you write good poetry. I know, but you're a bit shy. Okay, write for someone else to recite. One day, try in these Majalis we have now. This is your opportunity. This is your platform. Recite one line of poetry, 2 lines of poetry. Some of you, mashallah, have brilliant voices. Use that voice for the Ahlul Bayt. Some of you have amazing skills in IT, in coding and programming, whatever it may be. Use that for the Imam. How? Be the best in your field. And know when the Imam comes back, he will need programmers. He will need people with social media talent. He will need people with poetry and painting and arts and so on. I don't know where we get this concept that when Imam Mahdi comes, that's it. We're going to sit at home or in the masjid with tasbeehs in our hand and just sit there the whole day. They say science will go 200-300% more than what it is today. We will be accelerating in all fields. That's how you can be the best for your Imam. Maytham was a date seller, kujur. That's all he sold every day. But he was a sincere kujur seller. Hence why Imam Ali said he's part of my family. Habib bin Madahir, another example. You've heard in the Majalis in the first 10 days. Imam Hussein didn't accept everyone. People came up to him and said, I wish to be with you. The Imam looked at them and said, you're not really sincere. Go back home. But he wrote a letter to Maytham, to Habib. Habib, come and help me. Can you imagine the maqam of Habib bin Madahir? How did Habib get this as well? They say he was approximately 80 plus. How did Habib become like this? Because of his sincerity. Just like all of you today, you've come to this majlis. I ask you a quick question. Is anyone wearing shoes here? I hope not. No. Where's your shoes? Outside. Why are your shoes outside? For respect. But why else? Your shoes are there because you've left the world outside. When you go to school, and you go to college, some of you to uni, to work, you will wear shoes, right? I hope you don't go barefoot, do you? Imagine going on the bus and the train barefoot. People will be moving away from you. You wear shoes for a reason. You go do your work. You earn your rizq. You earn your education with your shoes. But when you leave your shoes outside, the ulama mention it's symbolic. You've left all your problems, your worries, everything outside. You've come to this majlis or any majlis you go to sincerely. There's a meaning behind everything. Another example. Why are we all traditionally wearing black? Again, black is a color of gham. The curtains have also been draped at black. The Farashiyazah is also black. Why? Because a great gham has happened in this month. And so when you can sincerely attach yourself to the Majalis, to your poetry, whatever it is, and link it slightly to the Imam of your time, you see, you will, inshallah, we never know, 100, 200 years from now, your names will be mentioned in other Majalis as being there for the Imam of your time. Did you know this brother Ali, who used to come to those majlises for 14? He became a great commander for Imam Mahdi. Did you know that sister Zahra, I'm just giving an example, she used to come to these 14 majalis. When Imam Mahdi came, she became the head of this department. You need to think of it practically. When you come into this majlis, your name could be on that badge. How can you earn it? Just by being sincere. I'll give you another example as well. We have the example of Zuhair bin Kain. Again, you've heard of this name as well. But do you know how Zuhair became Zuhair alayhi salam? They say before Karbala, he avoided the Ahlul Bayt his whole life. Imagine again, he's 50 years old, let's say, for example. At least 47 years or 48 years of his life, he avoided the Ahlul Bayt. They say even when he was going towards Karbala, he wasn't going to Karbala. He was trying to go back to Kufa. But he saw Imam Hussein's camp, and he would make sure his camp was far away. You know, like you're in a car on a motorway, you can see another car going by. If you don't want to meet them, you slow down, you let the car go ahead. Or you speed up. So you don't want to be next to that car. Okay? Similarly, back then, people were traveling on horses, on camels. When Imam Hussein's caravan would stop at one point, Zuhair would make sure he is at least a mile away. But one day, Imam Hussein said, meet me once. I wish to speak to you. They say he said, no, I don't want to speak to Imam Hussein. I don't really like the Ahlul Bayt. Someone from his camp said, at least speak to him once. See what he wants to say, then you can go away. Now, history doesn't fully record, there's no narration on this, on what they spoke about. When Zuhair went to meet Imam Hussein privately in his khayma, in his tent, the meeting was so secret, we don't really know what they spoke about. But we can assume what they spoke about. How? When Zuhair came back to his camp, he came back smiling. And he was happy. They said, why are you happy? You normally frown a lot. You know, you're very angry. You know, when your eyebrows are frowning, you do that a lot. Why are you smiling? What's happened? He said, I have now found my Jannah. I have found my Imam. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's all he spoke to Imam. Today, Zuhair is known as alayhi salam. Why? How? There was inside of him purity. He was sincere. That's why I keep mentioning this. How can you gain that purity, that sincereness? MashaAllah, all of you here have come with your parents. You can gain that through your parents, first of all. You know, sometimes your mum and dad calls you, you feel annoyed, right? May Allah give them all a long life. But there will come a time when you will be old and you will wish your parents were calling you, but there will be no more calling from mum or dad. You wish you could be with your grandparents. May Allah give them a long life. But this is part of life, it happens. There will come a time when there will be no more calls or meeting your grandparents or your mothers or your fathers. What will you do then? The best wasila to your imam is through the du'as of your parents. That's where you gain your true sincerity. So like I keep mentioning, tonight inshallah, if you didn't do it yesterday, okay. But tomorrow I'll ask this question again. I don't want to hear no one saying no. Tonight when you go back home, in any way, sort or form, at least the least you can do is say thank you to your mum and dad. They might think, have you gone a bit crazy because you're always messing about? But say thank you. I appreciate what you do for me. Certain times I'm sleeping at night, but you're discussing me, my future, my education, my food, my clothing. Yes, you think your friends are your best friends. They're not really your best friends. Your best friends were those who raised you when you couldn't raise yourself. They clothed you when you couldn't clothe yourself. They fed you when you couldn't feed yourself. Your best friends weren't there. It's because of your parents. So if you want to see if you're there for Imam Zamana, let's see if you're there for your parents. I'll give you the next example. Can I have a loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. There's a beautiful man by the name of Hafaf al-Basri. Hafaf al-Basri, Basri means he was from Basra. He said to Imam Hussein, when you go towards Karbala, I promise you I will be there. But what happened was he ended up arriving on the Asr of Ashura. What happened on the Asr of Ashura? Imam Hussein had been killed. He arrived, he said all I could see was horror and the effects of the battle. I saw spears in front of me, arrows and swords and dead shields and all these things. He says, I then went to this big army. Now he doesn't know what's happened. He goes, and who does he meet? Umar ibn Sa'd, lanatullah alayh. He met him and he said, where's Hussein? I can't see Hussein. Now you can imagine 30,000 men. Umar ibn Sa'd is there. Shimr is there. All these generals of Banu Umayyah are there. They looked to him in his eyes and they said, we have killed Hussein. Hafaf is all alone, by the way. If you picture this, you're in a very hostile environment. You've just asked about your imam. These generals are telling you, looking you dead in your eyes, we've killed your imam. What would you and I do? Hafaf could have gone home. He could have said, okay, I'm just here to check how things are. What did he do? He said, you killed Hussein. They said, yeah. We killed Hussein, we killed his brothers, his sons, his nephews, his companions. All the men are dead. Hafaf was thinking what's just happened. He's trying to process this because he loved Imam Hussein a lot. As he's thinking, how could they kill Imam Hussein? I've come late. They said, Hafaf, we are now burning the khaymagas. Look behind you, we're burning the tents. When Hafaf heard this, the narration says, he says, do you know who I am? I am Hafaf al-Basri. Perhaps you don't know who I am. He said this, he turned around, he ran towards the khaymagas. The narration says, you know, in battle, when you fight someone, normally it's a duel. It's called a duel in English. You hit them, they block, they hit you back, you block, and eventually you may overpower them. Hafaf, the narration mentions, was so strong that not a single man came in front of him except that he was finished instantly. There wasn't a chance or a time for them to block anything. Hafaf was so brave and he had such jazba and love for the Ahlul Bayt. How can it be you killed my Imam? You're burning the tents of his women, his sisters, his daughters. He ran towards the tents. Any man who tried to stop him, Hafaf would kill him instantly. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam says that out of us, the Banu Hashim, except for us, the Banu Hashim, for example, Mullah Abbas, Mullah Ali Akbar, Hazrat Muhammad, outside of the Banu Hashim, the most bravest man was Hafaf al-Basri. He fought so many men that for a short period of time, they forgot about looting the tents and they all turned towards Hafaf. They're like, who is this man? Where has he come from? Why is he so strong? So Umar ibn Sa'd then says, surround him and then kill him. Don't do one-on-one with him. So the narration says, they surrounded him and they began to kill him in that state. And as he was dying, he said, oh Imam Hussein, I came late, but I still tried for you. What theme do you get from this? Don't think it's too late. When it comes for the efforts of your Imam and helping your Imam, don't hold back. For example, some of you here, you may fail an exam. God forbid, God forbid. You fail the exam. You think your world is over. Resit it. Do it again. With what niyyah? That Imam Zamana, I want to be one of your top academics, whatever it may be. Help me. Don't ever give up like Haffaf. He could have said Imam Hussein, or he could have said to Umar ibn Sa'd when they were looking at him in his eyes, I'm just here as a traveler, I don't know what happened. In that state, he ran towards the tents, and they say he fought so bravely, the whole army literally stopped looting and came towards him. That jazba, that power is through what? Through the Imam of his time. I'll give you another example. Same like Haffaf al-Basri. Haffaf al-Basri, a great man, alayhi salam. We have another name by the name of Suwaid ibn Amr al-Khatimi. Suwaid al-Amr, they say, again, he fought bravely in the battle of Karbala. He got hit on the head so severely, he fell unconscious. Now when he's on the floor, unconscious, they thought he had died. So they left him alone. Really, he was unconscious. When he woke up, when did he wake up? He heard the call, Hussein has just been killed in Karbala. Now the army is where? They're going towards the khaymas again. This is before Haffaf came, by the way. Before Haffaf, Suwaid was there as well. Suwaid says, obviously now, you can imagine, he could have again acted like he was unconscious. They've killed me, I can go home. If I act like I'm just on the floor, and I'm exhausted, I'm tired from the heat, the thirst, I can go home. What did Suwaid do? The narration says, he picked up his sword. He said, if my Imam has died, there's no point of me being alive. He again ran towards the army. He started fighting again. And he was made shaheed the second time. What hope do we get from this? Don't forget your duty. Duty to your parents, duty to your Imam. Duty to anything you honor. We mentioned this in the nights to come as well. Even your friendships or your relationships with your brothers or your sisters, that is also your duty. You don't stab them in the back. If you're loyal to your family, then inshallah you'll be loyal to the Imam of the time as well. Can we have another loud salawat? Today is a very special day. We're going to remember a great shaheed from Karbala. So I want to spend a bit of time on Mawla Ali Asghar alayhi salam as well. Just 2 or 3 more examples and we come towards the Masai. Another example you find, again, companions we're mentioning. We mentioned Maytham al-Tamar, Habib ibn Mazahir, Haffaf al-Basri, Suwaid ibn Amr al-Khatimi. We mentioned Zubair. Another companion you find is Abdullah al-Azdi. Again, if you forget these names, don't worry. You can Google them later. Don't worry about the names. But please don't forget the themes we are talking about. Sincerity, loyalty, being there for your family, your Imam. Okay? Abdullah al-Azdi says, I came to Kufa on the 8th or 9th of Muharram. How far is Kufa from Karbala? A few hundred kilometers. He says, I came to Kufa, I found Kufa a ghost town. Who remembers COVID? Hands up. Everyone remembers COVID. Who remembers the lockdown? Hands up, everyone remembers the lockdown. What happened in the lockdown? When you went on the road, the roads were empty. Ghost town. No one's allowed outside. No one goes outside. Why? COVID. So he says, I came home, I asked my daughter, is there a virus? Is there like a disease? What's happened to the people of Kufa? The bazaars are empty, the shops are empty, everything's just quiet. What's happened? His daughter replied, oh my father, when you were away on travel, there's a rebel who's risen up in Karbala. All of these men in Kufa have gone to kill him. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad Lanatullah alayhi has said, any man who does not go to fight Hussein in Karbala, he will be killed in Kufa. No question asked. So he said, what should I do? His daughter, she said to him, Father, you go to fight him as well. They didn't realize this is the grandson of Rasulullah. He said, I packed my sword, I packed my bag, I was going towards Karbala, my daughter stopped me. She said, Father, you know when you go to fight, after there's a term known as Male Ghanimat. Basically, the spoils of war. So swords, bracelets, whatever jewelry you find after war, legally, when you've won the war, that's now all of yours. You can distribute it to charity, you can do what you want with it, that's yours now. She said, Father, when you go to fight and you're coming back, if you can find a ring for me, an aqiq ring, please bring me back a ring. I love rings, bring me back one aqiq ring. He said, okay. Abdullah al-Azdi says, I arrived in Karbala on the day of Ashura. It took him a day to get there. Again, he arrived before the time of Asr. So Imam Hussein was still alive. He says, I saw one man amongst many men. They're all trying to kill him, but they can't come near him. So I asked one of the soldiers who was running away, I said, wait, who is this man? I said, he is Hussein bin Ali. So he said, why don't you guys attack him? Why are you running away? They said, he's the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. We can't come near to him. A bit in the bracket here. Don't doubt the maqtal when you hear that Imam Hussein fought extremely bravely. Don't doubt it. Independent sources verify that in the final time of Imam Hussein, when he attacked the army of Umar ibn Sa'd was shocked. They said, we saw Imam Hussein crying on Ashura. We saw him, what we thought he was destroyed. He's picking up the bodies of his companions, his friends, his family, his loved ones, his baby. We saw him broken. We thought he was broken. But in that final moment when we all tried to gang up and attack him, the way Hussein fought back, it was like a sheep, a lion amongst sheep. Abdullah al-Azdi says, I said, okay, then I will try to attack him myself. He said, Imam Hussein had his back towards me. I had my sword. I took out my sword. I made the niyyah that I'm going to go and attack Imam Hussein. But he said, when I galloped towards him on my horse, from behind, Imam Hussein, he said, didn't know I was behind him. I wanted to attack him from behind. When I'm galloping towards him from behind, he says, Imam Hussein said my name, Abdullah, is that you? He said, I froze instantly. I stopped my horse, my hands were shaking, my sword dropped. I said, how does he know my name? I'm coming from behind him. I've never met him. How does he know who I am? Imam Hussein said once more, Abdullah, is that you behind me? He said, yes, it's me, Abdullah from Kufa. Abdullah al-Kufi, it's me. Imam Hussein said, you come close to me. I want to speak to you. He said, I came close to Imam Hussein. I said, who are you? You knew who I was. You have this love towards me. I have this love towards you now. You know your aura. I can feel something. Who are you? Imam Hussein replied, Abdullah, I am the grandson of Rasulullah. Abdullah, I have a present for you. The narration says Imam Hussein took off his own aqiq ring. He gave it to him. He said, go back to Kufa and give this to your daughter from me. He said, Sayyidi, how did you know what my daughter said to me? Only I know what she told me. The Imam was trying to say that the Imam of your time, he knows what's in your heart. Abdullah came to try and kill Imam Hussein. Those 3 or 4 minutes of conversation, Abdullah said, now Sayyidi, I wish to be here with you. I am now going to defend you. Imam Hussein said, Abdullah, no. I command you as your Imam, go back to Kufa. But he said something really heartbreaking. He said, Abdullah, if you wish to pay me back in a few days time from now, my sisters and my daughters will be coming to Kufa. If you can give them some makna, some chadars, that's how you can pay me back. You are my guest in Karbala. In 2 or 3 days' time, my sisters will be your guest in Kufa. If you can help them where you can. Point being, but the Imams of your time, the Imam of my time and your time, Imam Zamana, like Imam Hussein, what is he looking for? He's looking for that sincerity within you, that love, that muhabba. I said to you before, today is a very special day. May Allah accept all of your hajat, remove all of your difficulties, and bless you and your families. The shaheed we are honoring today is known as Babul Hawaij. You know, if you look at the list of all of the Babul Hawaij, they are all grown people, except for Ali Asghar. 6 months old, but he's known as Babul Hawaij. I'll give you a quick example. They say any true wish you make through the wasila of Bab al-Hawaij. We're not asking them directly. We ask Allah. We believe in Allah. But Allah has made a nizam. He said there are certain ways to me which are quicker. If you ask me through the wasila of someone who's close to me because they sacrificed for me and my Islam, I will accept your du'as quicker. One of them is whom? Mawla Ali Asghar alayhi salam. Here in Sakina Trust, a few years ago, from across the street, there was a lady from our beloved Ahl Sunnah community. May Allah bless them. She said, for up to 15 years, my daughter had no children. As in, we're trying what we can, they're saying no. She said, I came to your mosque and I came to the Jula of Ali Asghar. She said, the next year, Allah had blessed my daughter with twins. How? For what reason? Because you sought the wasila of someone who was the youngest in Karbala, but his musibah is one of the biggest. In fact, there's another alim Medin, he says, I was in India and I went to the julus, and just like with the julus, you go ahead sometimes, you go and see what's happening. He said, I went ahead of the julus, I turned round the corner, what I saw shocked me. What did he see? He says, I saw so many Hindu women holding their babies. And said to me, oh man, do you know when Imam Hussein's julus will come by? He said, what does Imam Hussein mean to you? You're not even Muslim. They said, yes, we're not Muslim, but we still remember Imam Hussein. Today is the day of Ashura, don't you know? On this day, the baby of Rubab died thirsty. We women also don't feed our children unless your julus passes by from here. I would say, Bibi Rubab, this is your muqaddar, this is your destiny. You had 2 children, one was left in Karbala, the other in the Zindan of Sham. The tragedy is this, both of them did not even get a coffin. If narrating it is so hard for me to narrate and hard for you to hear, imagine how hard it was for them to see this happen. The narration says that when the time for Lady Sakina came, the Ghusl Kha came to Imam Sajjad. She said, did this baby, this girl, have a disease? Imam Sajjad says she had no disease. My sister was perfectly fine. She said, then you do the ghusl for this child. Imam Sajjad says, why? This is the Zindan of Sham. She replied, every time I try to remove her shirt, her skin begins to peel off as well. There are so many patches of blue and purple on her body. What did she go through? Imam Sajjad replied, this is the torture my sister took from Karbala to Sham. Oh, Bibi Zainab, let's bury Sakina without a coffin as well. The other shaheed without a coffin was whom? Ali Asghar. The narration says on Ashura, when Imam Hussein said, Hal min nasirin yansurna. Is there anyone out there who can help me? Just then, Imam Hussein heard cries from the Khaymagas. It is as if Imam Hussein was trying to say, oh Zainab, my women, my children, as long as I am alive, don't cry. After me, there's many more musibas for you in Kufa and Sham. Bibi Zainab said, my brother, we are crying because when you said, Hal min nasirin yansurna, is there anyone out there to help me? It's like we saw Ali Asghar throw himself outside of his jula, outside of his cradle, as if to say, my father, I am still here for you. Imam Hussein said, I know what my baby wants. Give me my baby to me. Now, because of the heat of Karbala, Imam Hussein hid Ali Asghar in his abba. When he's walking towards the enemy forces, they're thinking maybe Hussein is bringing the Quran. Hussein wants to now debate us with the Quran. But the narration says, when Imam Hussein removed the abba, the army men of Yazid now began to cry. Why? Because they had babies at home as well. They had children at home as well. Imam Hussein said, oh army of Umar ibn Sa'd, you have a problem with me, not this baby. At least feed it some water. If you think I will drink the water, fine. I place this baby on the ground. You come yourself and feed him some water. The narration says half the army began running to the Furat. The other half said, no, we will not feed him some water. We are at war with everyone. Just then Umar ibn Sa'd says, oh Harmala, come forward, ikta bi kalam al-Hussein. Silence this word, this speech of Hussein. Silence that baby. My army will turn against me. The narration says he put an arrow which had 3 heads towards it. He tried shooting it the first time, the arrow fell down. He tried shooting it the second time, his hand shook, the arrow fell down. When he tried this the third time, again his hand fell down, the arrow from his hand fell down. Umar bin Sa'd said, Harmala, why can't you kill this baby? It's just a baby. Why are you so scared? He said, oh Umar ibn Sa'd, I'm not scared of the baby. He said, then what's happened? He says, every time I try to aim for that little neck, I see a lady next to him. This lady is covered in black. And she is saying, oh Harmala, don't kill my grandson. This is Sayyidah Fatima. I would say, Bibi Fatima, my condolences to you. They killed your Mohsen in Medina. Today in Karbala, they're killing your Ali Asghar. I won't mention the full narration, but you can imagine when he shot that arrow, how it must have hurt the child, how that child was now in pain. Imam Hussein began walking to the Khaymagaz. Bibi Rubab is still waiting. He said, Bibi Rubab, this is your qurbani, this is your sacrifice. May Allah accept. Bibi Rubab did not complain. She didn't say, Hussein, why me? Why my baby? She said, oh Hussein, one question. Are babies like this treated in this manner as well? The only shaheed for whom Imam Hussein made a grave, but on the 11th of Muharram, they came and they dug open that grave. I leave that to you, but I finish with these words. On the night of Sham-e-Ghariba, the Buzurg ulama mention some water came to Bibi Sakina. When this water came to her, Bibi Zainab said, Sakina, wake up my dear, drink some water. She said, my auntie, why are you giving me some water? You are thirsty as well. My other sisters are thirsty as well. Bibi Zainab said, Sakina, because us, the Banu Hashim, we give water to the youngest first. Bibi Sakina then took the jam of the water. She began running to the Maktalga. Bibi Zainab said, Sakina, where are you running to now? She began crying, my baby Ali Asghar was also thirsty. I finish with these words. The Jula is coming now. I finish with these words. You can imagine when this Kafla went back to Medina, they're not the same Bibis which left Medina. When they came towards their homes, they met Bibi Baneen, but Bibi Fatima Sugra was also waiting. Bibi Zainab met Fatima Sugra. Bibi Kulthum met Fatima Sugra. But then Bibi Rubab came to meet Bibi Fatima Sugra. Bibi Fatima began looking around. Bibi Rubab said, Fatima, who are you looking for? She said, my young sister Sakina left Medina. I am hoping she has come back with you. Bibi Rubab would have said, oh Sugra, we left Sakina in the Zindan of Sham. Then Bibi Sugra, you can imagine, she would have looked towards the arms of her mother. Oh Sugra, what are you looking for now? She would say, what about my baby Ali Asghar? You left him a year ago. He now would have been speaking. I wish to now meet my baby brother. Bibi Rubab would have cried, oh Sugra, if you saw on Ashura how they pierced his holy neck with their arrow. Oh Sugra, if you could see how they pierced his neck with their arrow. Allah la'natullahi al-qawmi zalimeen wa saya'lamu allazina zalamu ayya munqalibin yanqalibun. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of Ali Asghar Bab al-Hawaij, oh Allah, accept our humble offering. Oh Allah, forgive us all our sins. And oh Allah, allow us to be with Mawla Ali Asghar fi dunya wa fil qabr wa fil akhirah. Ma'atame Hussein.
Hussein, Ya 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 Hussein. Ya Hussein,
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 Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein,
I'll let you know where we go.
Ya Hussein,
This one?
Ya Hussein,
This one?
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein,
One of the other ones.
Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya ماما کربلا دیا ماما 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 پترا دیا لاشا دے ٹکڑے ریا لب دیا بچ سہرا ماما کربلا دیا ماما 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 پترا دیا لاشا دے ٹکڑے ریا لب دیا بچ سہرا ماما کربلا دیا ماما ماما کربلا دیا ماما ماما کربلا دیا ماما ماما کربلا دیا ماما ماما صبر دے دیا ماما صبر دے مالک نو سین لیلا آکھے اذن جے دے ویتے میں صبر دی سانج چ اکبر دے سینے جو سانگ ہٹاواں ماما کربلا دیا ماما ماما 2 times again صبر دے صبر دے کربلا دیا ماما کربلا دیا ماما صبر دے مالک نو سین لیلا آکھے اذن جے دے ویتے میں صبر دی سانج چ اکبر دے سینے چوں سانگ ہٹاواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں
We'll read Maba one more, then Akima.
ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں آنکھیں ماں قاسم دی ماتے احسان کریں دیر تائیں لڑدا روی تیرے ٹکڑے مطابق بدنیاں نے میرے ویر حسین دی ساواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں آنکھیں ماں قاسم دی ماتے احسان کریں تیرے تائیں لڑدا روی تیرے ٹکڑے مطابق بدنیاں نے میرے ویر حسین دی ساواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں
صبر دے
کربلا دیا ماواں
صبر دے
صبر دے مالک نو سین لیلا آکھے اذن جے دے ویتے میں صبر دی سانج چ اکبر دے سینے چوں سانگ ہٹاواں ماواں کربلا دیا ماواں
آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں
آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں
آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں
چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں
آج مل کے
اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں
میرے لاڈلے کہاں ہو میرے لاڈلے کہاں ہو سینے تمہیں لگاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں
آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند
تیرے جھولے کو سکینہ دے
تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں
تیرے جھولے کو سکینہ رو رو کے چومتی ہے تجھے رن میں ڈھونڈتی ہے تیری موت کی خبر میں کیسے اسے سناؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں
بیٹا تمہارا
اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں بیٹا تمہارا قاتل میرے سامنے کھڑا ہے جانے کیوں ہنس رہا ہے چادر بھی لٹ گئی ہے منہ کس طرح چھپاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں لگتا ہے ماں سے اصغر ناراض ہو گیا ہے مقتل میں سو گیا ہے ڈھونڈوں کہاں میں اس کو اور کس طرح جگاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں
میری جان جا رہی
اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں میری جان جا رہی ہے یہ سوچ سوچ اصغر اس پھول سے گلے پر یہ تیر کیسے جھیلا بہنوں کو کیا بتاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں یا حسین 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 سر کو کٹا کے دین پہ سر کو کٹا کے دین پہ خود کربلا میں گھر دیا تو نے حسین یا 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 حسین خالق تیرا ممنون ہے خالق تیرا ممنون ہے مرتضی فاطمہ کے نور ہے یا حسین 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 بار محمد وال محمد بلند تر صلوات
بسم اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ یا حبیب اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ یا خاتم الانبیاء ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ السلام علیکم اہل بیت النبوہ ومعدن الرسالة السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى وارث أمير المؤمنين ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم جميعا. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبو الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين وقاسم بن الحسن ومسلم بن عقيل وهاني بن أروى وحبيب بن مظاهر وخر الشهيد الرياحي. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والهجة القائم بن الحسن المهدي. يا مولانا يا صاحب الأسر والزمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان، السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. أسألك يا سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان وشر الشيطان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وساحل مخرجك وظهورك، وجعلنا من أنصاره وجعلنا من أعوانه وجعلنا من مستشهدين بين يديه ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك هجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة، وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.